to Ecclesiastes chapter 12, and we'll begin reading at verse 5. So now, Job called it breath. Job called it in Genesis, it was called breath in man's nostrils, and Job called it spirit that was in man's nostrils. But we understand they both talking about the same thing. You understand what I'm saying? That is why I read you that definition. So you understand spirit, breath, one and the same. You know, you want to use the term spirit? Okay, go ahead. You prefer to use the term breath? Okay, go ahead. Y'all both saying the same thing. Y'all are in agreement. Now, let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 12, and we'll begin reading at verse 5. Ecclesiastes 12, and we'll begin at verse 5. 12 and 5. 12 and 5. Okay, go ahead and read it, brother.
Also, when they shall be afraid of that which is high, and fear shall be in the way.
Go ahead.
And the almond tree shall flourish, and the grasshopper shall be a burden.
Go ahead.
And desire shall fail, because man goeth to his long home.
Wait a minute, he said man goeth where? To his long. You know, that's common saying today, isn't it? You know, you going to a funeral? No, I'm going to a home going. Where's home? That's where he came from, right? Where did man come from in the first place? He came out of the dust of the ground, didn't he? Did he come? He didn't come from heaven, did he? Because when they talk about home going, they talk about going to heaven. You know, we're going to go over there and we're going to send Sister Sally on home. But they talking about Sister Sally getting some wings and go floating off somewhere. That's what they talking about. But the book said man came from the dust of the ground. And the book, we also read that he returned to the dust of the ground.
Yes, sir.
That's home going, isn't it?
That's it, brother. Yes, sir.
Go ahead and read on.
End of verse 5.
Go ahead.
And the mourners go about the street.
Now he said, man go up to his long-awaited home, and the mourners go about the street. And it happens all the time, don't you? You know, you go and bury your loved one, and then, you know, and after the preacher get through saying whatever he's going to say, you take him out there and you put him in the ground.
That's right, brother.
Then the mourners go about the street. And after you put him in the ground, after he's there for a time, he returned to the dust. If you don't believe it, just go out there and dig up a grave that's been there for a while, and guess what you're going to find? Dust. That's what you're going to find. So now, man go up to his long-awaited home, and the mourners go about the street. Go ahead and read it. Now, we got the body. That's accounted for, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So we have one other component, and that is the breath that God put in man's nostrils, or even as Job called it, the spirit that was put in man's nostrils. Go ahead and read.
Or ever the silver cord be loose, or the golden bowl be broken,
Go ahead.
or the pitcher be broken at the fountain, or the wheel broken at the cistern.
Go ahead.
Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was.
Notice what it said, and then shall the dust return to the earth as it was. That's one component. Go ahead and read on.
And the spirit shall return unto God who gave it.
And the spirit of the breath shall return unto God that gave it. Both components accounted for. Let's go now to Psalm chapter 146. And we'll begin reading at verse 3. Psalm 146, and we'll pick it up at verse 3. 146 and 3. 146 and 3. And, you know, this is very clear, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And everybody is saying the same thing, aren't they? You know, one is not saying this and something, and the other one is saying something contradictory to that. Everybody is saying the same thing. Because all of the information came from the same source, and that is from God.
Yes, sir.
Let's go to Psalm 146, and we'll begin read at verse 3. Psalm 146, and we'll pick it up at verse 3. 146 and 3. Okay, go ahead and read it.
Put not your trust in princes, nor in the Son of Man, in whom there is no help.
Read it.
His breath goeth forth, he returneth to his earth.
See what it said? The breath goeth forth, and he returned to the earth. We read it in Ecclesiastes, didn't we?
Yes, sir.
Then we read it again over in Psalm 104, and here we are reading it again. his breath goeth forth, and he returneth to the earth. Go ahead and read.
In that very day his thoughts perish.
And in that very day his thoughts perish. When you die, you don't do nothing no more. You don't think, you don't love, you don't hate, you don't do anything. That's dead. That stuff that these people call dead, that ain't dead. You know, I went out there and talked to my aunt at the graveyard this morning. No, you didn't. If you heard a voice, I promise you it was not your aunt. If it was your aunt, she wasn't dead.
Right,
when they took her out there, they thought she was dead, but she wasn't dead. Because when you die, you don't, this is what the Bible says, you don't love, you don't hate, you don't do nothing anymore. In that very day, your thoughts perish.
That's right.
You don't do nothing. That's dead. Now, let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 3, and we'll begin reading at verse 19. Ecclesiastes 3, and we'll begin at verse 19. You know, we done read a few pages, and I ain't saw you going to heaven yet.
That's right, brother.
Everybody's saying you die, and you go back to the dust.
That's right.
The breath go back to God that gave it, and the body return to the dust. We done read a few places now. If you go into heaven, we got to run into it at some point. Because we running out of scripture here, y'all. And all we got so far is the body go back to the dust and the breath go back to God that gave. That's all we have. We don't have nothing else.
That's right, brother.
Let's go to Ecclesiastes 3, and we'll pick it up at verse 19. See what we run into here. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, and we'll begin at verse 19. 3 and 19. Maybe some will change. We'll see. Ecclesiastes 3 and verse 19. Okay, go ahead and read.
For that which befalleth the sons of men befalleth beasts.
Now he said the same thing that befalleth the son of men, it befalleth the beasts as well. Go ahead and read.
Even one thing befalleth them.
And even one thing befalleth them. Go ahead.
As the one dieth, so dieth the other.
Now he said, as the one died, so dieth the other. You know, just like man died, a dog died too, don't it?
That's right, brother.
So now the same thing that befalleth man, it befalleth the beast as well. Go ahead and read on.
Yea, they have all one breath.
And they have all one breath. In other words, the breath that you need to live is the same breath that the dog needs to live.
That's right.
You know, you can take away, you ain't got to shoot a dog. All you got to do is just cover up his mouth and his nose so he can't breathe, and he'll die too.
That's right, brother. Yes, sir.
Might be a tough task, but if you can manage to do it, I guarantee you he'll die.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
The same breath that the dog got is the same breath that man has. That's what the Bible is saying. I'm not saying that. That's what the Word of God is saying. It is.
Mm-hmm.
So now, he said they all have one breath. Go ahead and read.
So that a man hath no preeminence above a beast.
Go ahead.
For all is vanity.
Go ahead.
All go unto one place.
Wait a minute. They all go to one place.
Yes, sir.
You mean the same place that man go is the same place that the dog go? That's what the book said then. And look at where that place is. Go ahead and read it.
All are of the dust.
Uh-huh.
And all turn to dust again.
They all came from the dust, and they all going to return to the dust again. I guarantee you, if you lay a dog out there in the ground, he going to go back to the dust. Just like if you lay man out there in the ground, he too going to go back to the dust. They all came from the dust, and they all returned to the dust. So where's the dog home going? It's dust too. Let's go now to Ecclesiastes chapter 9, and we'll begin read at verse 1. Ecclesiastes 9, and we'll pick it up at verse 1. 9 and 1. 9 and 1. Okay, go ahead and read.
For all this I considered in my heart, even to declare all this.
Go ahead.
That the righteous and the wise and their works are in the hand of God. No man knoweth either love or hatred by all that is before them.
Go ahead.
All things come alike to all.
Now he said all things come alike to all. He going to tell you what it is. Go ahead and read.
There is one event to the righteous and to the wicked.
Now he said this one event. It is both to the righteous and it is to the wicked as well. And he's going to tell you what that event is. Read on.
To the good and to the clean.
Now he said this event, it is to the good and it is to the clean. And it is to the unclean as well. Go ahead and read it.
To him that